What do you say, baseball fans? Rye Bread talking baseball. It's episode 79. We're moving on up. Just like Eovaldi's ERA tonight. I don't know. We'll see. The Brewers win a big one last night. Had to give a shout out to Willie Adames before we get into our little Rays segment. Willie has just been on fire since he went over to the Brewers. He was up. He had a little bit of a lull, and he's hitting it again. And I just want to point out, I'm so happy that Willie's having success over there with our pick to win the NL Central, your Milwaukee Brewers. So, moving on to the Rays, though. We cannot wait. We were switching back and forth between the Lightning and the Rays, a couple of barn burners. And the Lightning end up winning 1-0 on a shorty. I was a little bit pumped up last night, as you can tell from the raspy voice, looking like 5 pounds of shit in a 3-pound bag for the show today. But the show must go on. I don't know if you can hear my kid clamoring in the background. He could wait. I'm just kidding. She's back there. Don't call the cops. Red Sox beat the Yanks 5-3. Giants beat the A's 2-0. Those were the other big games. A couple of exciting matchups last night across the league. But we're sticking with our Rays and Angels game because the Angels, man, they're teetering. And Ohtani leads off the game with another Mr. Majestic blast to the D-ring. Man, it was an absolute torpedo. And it was about 7 or 8 pitches into the game, and the Rays were down 2-0. I thought it was going to be a long night. And then Rays bounced back, put together a couple of hits, and then the scoring goes quiet. End up getting a hit by pitch to force in a run, and that's the final tally. It's 4-3 Rays, and we'll take it. The reason why it's important, the Red Sox keep winning their games when they're not playing against the Rays. So the Yankees continue to fall. I'm becoming less and less concerned with the Yankees. If they cannot win with Herman on the mound, it's going to be hard for them to find wins. And Eovaldi tonight, even though Montgomery's been a little bit more hittable lately, Eovaldi's fastball used to be straight as an arrow. And now that you can't put anything on it anymore, I imagine that's why that ERA is steadily creeping. Because Eovaldi all of a sudden found this movement on his fastball, going from one of the hardest throwers in the league with the straightest fastball. And then he started to get a little bend on it, a little movement on it. And now that we can't put anything on the ball, I'm interested to see his spin rates tonight. Because the Yankees need one. They're hungry. And I think Eovaldi's going to serve it up. I expect some scoring tonight in that Yankees and Red Sox matchup. Now, across the country out there out west, man, the A's and the Giants treating us to some excellent baseball, West Coast style. The Giants continue to pitch. No surprise there. Cueto goes back to like circa 2015 Cueto is dealing. And now the A's are 2.5 back of the Astros, who are winners of 11 in a row. So to be 2.5 games back after your opponent's run off 11 straight wins, you're not in a terrible spot, but I still think the A's have enough to catch up, but the Astros are just too tough, man. That's why I was thinking in the beginning that it was Astros for the division and the A's are the wild card. And if it ended up how it sits right now, this is my surprised face. I actually think this is how it's going to end up, the way the standings are right now as we sit. But circling back, sorry, I jumped off that Rays game a little bit too soon. It's worth mentioning that the Rays are the team that usually plays the great defense, and last night was a tough night for Mejia, but he ended up being at the plate when that ball scooted by, and Margot scored to win that 1-0 ugly game. And then I think it was, who was it last night? I'm losing my train of thought. But last night we had the lefty-heavy lineup in there. And from what I was bouncing back, so you can tell my memory's a little bit scattered. I was bouncing back between the Lightning and the Rays, so I missed a couple of pieces. But it has to be said, the Rays have shown some intestinal fortitude here. They could have got down when they were getting walked off every other night, and we kind of hit on this yesterday when they got a little bit of regression to the mean with that walk-off against the... Who did they walk off against? Man, it's killing me here. Who was it again? Oh, yeah, the Red Sox, that team with the worst defense in the majors. Anyway, well, it's not that funny. It's funny to me because I'm still salty about those Red Sox fans who were calling the Rays boring. Not so much, man. If you want to find a boring team, look no further than the Yankees. That'll satiate any kind of boredom needs that you have. And speaking of exciting, we're all over the place today, as you can see, as a wreck. It's a late night. Fernando goes deep for 3 bombs. Of course he did. We love Fernando Tatis on this show. We don't watch as much Padres baseball as we should. It's too late. I get most of my Padres stuff in the form of a condensed game. I have to admit it, because it's too much baseball. Too much baseball for me with a 1-year-old. But I'm putting in a couple hours of condensed game work in the morning, so I catch most of the good stuff. During the games, though, I don't get a lot of live action Padres just because that West Coast thing keeps me up too late. When they were on fire and playing the Dodgers and that series was going on, I was watching every pitch. But as we're moving into the summer here, it's just too much to burn the candle at both ends and watch all that fantastic West Coast baseball, which is what it is. Fantastic West Coast baseball. So on the schedule today, we've got a couple of good ones. And my headphones want to cut out on me, too. What a morning. What a fantastic show. This guy knows how to keep it tight. My God. We're going to put this one in the dumpster. But we've got childcare issues to go through now, and I want to hit on these before we go. We got Houston at Detroit. It's Valdez at Mize. I've heard people say Mize. Am I saying that wrong my whole life? I hope not. And then you've got Gilbert at Lynn. It's going to be a tough one for the Seattle Mariners to get a win against Lynn and the White Sox. But Gilbert is coming into his own a little bit. Tough pitcher. Young, lanky guy. And then you've got our guy Brubaker at St. Louis. St. Louis reeling since Flaherty went on the IL. JT Brubaker, one of our appointment pitchers that we love here on the show. And we're just going to wrap it up here. Don't forget, Fishtails of Homosassa, open for your business. It was busy last night. Let's see if we can keep it rolling today. Bascom's Chop House, St. Pete, Tampa, Clearwater. Best steakhouse in the city, best wine list in the city. Check them out. And then, of course, if you're in the vacation mood, don't forget Bravo Beach Resort, Siargao Island, Philippines, place you want to be. Apologies for the rough start, man. You can forgive me for a Game 7 snafu. Go Bolts. We'll be back again tomorrow. We're going to do 162.